We hold this treasure in earthen vessels. Why is St. Paul talking to the Corinthians about earthen vessels? We know that he had established the church at Corinth around the year 50, spent 18 months with the believers there, and then moved on. In his absence, other gifted teachers, whom Paul called super apostles, arrived and confused the Corinthians about doctrine. They persuaded some of the believers to reject Paul's teaching and his authority as a leader. So Paul made a painful return visit, and many believers returned to him, but not all. In today's first reading then, we see him trying to reassure them of his love and commitment, and defending himself. When Paul calls himself an earthen vessel, his words aren't just theoretical, they are personal. The Corinthians had been impressed by the super apostles. They were wealthy, successful, and articulate. Paul, by contrast, was poor. He lacked eloquence and worked as a manual laborer. He moved from place to place. He was no stranger to persecution and was often beaten by crowds. Naturally, the Corinthians preferred the others. But Jesus himself became poor, although he was rich. So much so that his entire life culminated in the humiliation of the cross. So when the Corinthians disapproved of Paul because of his weakness, they were also rejecting Jesus, the true treasure in earthen vessels. Paul reminds us that true discipleship is not about being impressive or garnering praise. It's about carrying the presence of Christ to others. Jesus has chosen to dwell in earthen vessels like us, despite our weakness and fragility. Our call is to point people to Jesus, the treasure within us. This is the good news of the gospel that Paul proclaimed. Jesus takes us as we are and fills us with his presence, a treasure more valuable than gold. He turns our views of greatness upside down and helps us become like him in humility and love. You may feel lacking as a disciple, like a cracked clay pot. That's okay. You carry Jesus Christ himself. He delights to live in you and minister through you. You are my treasure, Lord. Psalm 116 verses 10 to 11, 15 to 18. Matthew chapter 5 verses 27 to 32.